Well, happy Aloha Friday, everyone. This is your virtual greeters. We're not very much live this morning, little technical difficulties, but that's okay because we still move forward. Right, Grayson?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say we're alive. You know, you say we're not very much live, but we're not very much dead either. No, just to
but
clarify.
You and I are live.
Yeah. I can't speak for anyone else. Really, I can't speak for any of you guys. You might be figments of my imagination, but that's okay.
We could be really creepy.
Yeah. Wake up, Naomi. You've been in a coma. Jeez. Yeah.
For over 60 days. I'm ready to wake up.
Oh, gosh.
Well, you guys, I am super excited. I'm always excited to come together on Friday mornings. And in spite of not being able to gather in person like we normally do, continuing to gather in this new platform, but mostly excited because today we're really kind of living out what we do best, and that's highlighting local. And this morning I'm just thrilled that we have four of our restaurant owners, local restaurant owners. We have Julie Hoy with Geppetto's Italian restaurant off Lancaster. Kevin Boyle, owner of Sassy Onion.
That's at the end. No, that was a me thing.
Oh. Sorry. I didn't.
Yeah, that's just Grayson. I can't do that.
Melissa Mason with Masonry Grill. So excited. And then, of course, Treva Gams with Gambrietti's Italian Restaurant. Yay. Welcome, you guys.
Great to be here.
Yeah, good morning. Yay. Treva and I got the memo to step outside. We forgot to send it to the rest of the crew. I'm sorry about that.
Grayson, is there such a thing as outside?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Really?
Do you have your mask on?
I should. Grayson?
Yes.
You mentioned earlier about, cooking. You seem to be cooking more, but now you're bored of this, but yet you're thankful to all these folks that they're still open.
Yeah, as someone whose entire family has been in the restaurant industry in some form or fashion at some point in their life, we all cook. We all like to cook, but we only like to cook when we want to cook, not when we have to cook, essentially. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. And something I was sharing with these folks earlier was something that I really appreciate about them. The fact that, what they're doing beyond actually just staying open, which is great for me to that particular point. It allows me to not have to cook if I don't want to, which is a lot. But even if I don't want to have to do that, what they're doing in keeping their businesses open, I think is just absolutely phenomenal, especially for their actual employees, people that count on them just as much as you as employers count on your employees. So just a giant kudos to you guys from my direction, just for staying open, for making it work to from start to finish, making sure that your folks are taken care of. I have a personally vested interest in Sassy Onion staying open because my girlfriend works for you. So Kevin, you keep on keeping on. Everything you're doing is fantastic.
So one of the things, you guys are all champions for staying open. And I said this earlier, behind the scenes and I want to say this, for everyone to see that, for champions, for yourselves, for your families, for your staff, for your community. It's challenging times right now, and you guys have all risen to the challenge and then some. And I think what I noticed, and I've noticed of all of you, is not only are you guys remaining open, and you're carrying out with your business, but you guys are continuing to give to the community. And that's a hard thing right now when so much we want to, take care of ourselves and make sure we're protecting ourselves, which is natural human behavior. But you guys are still continuing to give. And that, to me, in my book, is why I love Salem. You guys are all why I love Salem. But I kind of want to open this up to some questions that I wanted to ask you guys. And the first one I wanted to ask is, having stayed open, having chosen to stay open and do takeout or delivery, how have things been for all of you? And I'm going to go through each of you one by one, and I'm going to start with who's on my screen right now. And I'm going to start with Julie. Julie, what what have things been like for you guys having stayed open?
Well, it's been, it's an art. It's something that you have to sort of face every day. What's the new challenge? I know that's every day in the restaurant business, really, but it's especially so now because there's so many factors involved. Like your employees, it's not just employees. It's, is everybody staying healthy? It's, you know, how do I find pork this week? You know, do we have enough toilet paper? Yes, in fact, we're okay on that. Just every day, it's something different, something more. And adjusting even you start to realize what the patterns are. Okay, we're going to be really busy between 4 o'clock and 7:30, like really busy. Like if you're going to call, you should call in the morning and place an order for delivery during that time because you might not get through. So it's just a whole lot of jockeying around. We didn't have that problem before. You know? And it's not a problem. It's just a challenge that you have to figure out how to deal with and how to work around and how to staff for that. You know, it's when you don't know what it's going to be, which is every day in the restaurant business, but it's multiplied exponentially by the circumstances, the current circumstances. It's just more of the same.
Awesome. Melissa, same question to you. How have things been for Masonry Grill during this time?
Well, I think being the new kid on the block here, obviously just opened in November, the big impact to us was really the inconsistency. I thought I had a plan of what to expect, and I think that just went out the window as soon as all of this started to happen. And for us, it was really about, you know, we were so used to engaging, having energy. You're new, you're packed, you're just trying to get through everything, and then we just hit a wall, and it's like, boom, we're on delivery now. And that was never anything that we had ever really planned to. I mean, the smallest things, we have to-go boxes, but those are really leftover boxes, which are totally different from to-go containers, right?
Yeah.
And so just tiny little things as we maneuver and really try to strategize this isn't expected. How do we now embrace really where we're at and switch games, right? And start to do delivery, takeout. It's just a whole different aspect that we thought we might have a little bit more time before we had to go down that road. Yeah. So very much a change. Thank you. Very much a change in what we're doing, but for us, it's been huge to start going down that delivery path. So, but we're happy. I mean, we were going to do it anyway. I always have to see a little ounce of positivity in there.
Yes.
So I guess now we're ahead of my timeline.
Awesome. So I'm really, really bad about this swiping business. All right. So Treva, what about you? What are some things that have been like for you since you've stayed open?
Again,
especially like, 2 places, right? 2 places?
2 places. I am there more than I've ever been. It's it's a different world, and we're really just kind of changing daily to kind of see what's going on. But it has really brought us to look outside our box and really what kind of growth and what can we do. And so we've brought in, which we had ordered before, and it came while this is going on, was the new pasta maker. So we're doing in-house pasta. We're doing all the sauces. We're doing the market. So that's been a new piece for us that's been really fun, kind of exciting, and something we're going to keep with and moving forward to have the retail and the restaurant. So we're excited about the future. We're ready to move on the future. We're ready to open. We do miss the contact. That's been kind of the difficult, because even when you drop or you have that no contact and you're trying to make it as easy for your guests as possible so that they don't have to have fear. But we're working on, both of our restaurants are fairly large, so the layouts and stuff we're working on right now, we're really excited to make everybody feel safe and comfortable to come back out.
Awesome. And last but not least, I know I can't call you Sassy Sarah, but can I call you like Kick Butt Kevin? Like, can that be your
You can
name?
call me whatever you want. I've been called worse, so that's perfectly fine.
So Kevin, what about you guys there at Sassy?
Well, so we actually closed for the first month, and I have multiple operations, and a lot of them are in office buildings, and those are all except one are closed currently. So in terms of our staffing, over half of our staff is still laid off, and we have, multiple locations closed. But the main restaurant, Sassy Onion, was closed. We reopened on the 16th of April, so just after a month. And business is good. We're actually trying to also provide dinner service, which is something that we haven't done in the past. And so we're trying to build that market up. And our biggest probably challenge really is the fact that our catering is another part of what we do. And, we have weddings booked throughout the summer that everybody's kind of on hold. And a lot of people are, asking for refunds on their deposits and trying to cancel or reschedule. So we've had to kind of look at that and retool some of our staff that we would use in our catering to help us out with the dinners and stuff like that.
Awesome. And so that kind of leads me to my next question, and I'll start this next round of question with you. So, and I always like to keep things positive. So, what would you say has been the most challenging in this last 60-ish days? And then also, but what's something that you have learned, either about yourself as a restaurant owner or just, as a business during this time?
Sure. So probably the most challenging thing is figuring out whether or not the PPP loan is forgivable or not, or which portions are and which portions aren't, and what can you spend and what can't you spend it on. But in terms of, what I've learned, and we talked a little bit about it before this video started, is the fire that we had a few years ago. Having gone through that and knowing that we made it through and we're successful, and like you mentioned, the rally of the community around us we were able to reopen and work through whatever those problems were, that we can do that again. It's kind of strengthened us to know that it doesn't matter what comes our way, we'll be able to figure it out.
So Treva, same thing. What has been the most challenging in this experience for you? And you of course got 2 locations, but what is something that's come out of this that you weren't expecting? Something like that has surprised yourself through this?
The toughest part has been, just like Kevin had said, is all of negotiating the loans and doing all of that and being patient and having that. But the best part is where I started doing the Facebook Live, the cooking with myself, has been absolutely astounding. It's been fun. I am really enjoying that part of putting myself out there, and the positive that I'm getting back has been absolutely outstanding, incredible. I'm going to do it tonight at 5 o'clock up here at Cane's. So it's just really kind of opened a different door to really letting myself and everybody out there to know what is our restaurant about, and that has to do a lot with me.
That's awesome, Treva. Yes, and I do enjoy those videos. Definitely. But if I eat all the pasta you keep putting out there, I'm gonna walk West Salem forever. So Melissa, same thing to you, and for you, like you mentioned earlier, you're the new kid on the block, and I remember one of the last big greeters we had was at Masonry Grill, which your staff was phenomenal that morning. Close quarters. There was 150 people. Hope the fire marshal's not listening, but it was just such a great morning. The vibe was there. The 2 guys that served all of us were rock stars. So for you, what has been the challenge from this, but also what's been the thing that's surprising you about yourself that's been good?
I think the biggest challenge has been gaining momentum and then just having the rug pulled out, right? I mean, I think we all kind of felt that way, in a sense that nobody could have anticipated this, this virus. But I think in spite of that, it's really about the resiliency of everyone around us and wanting to continue to press forward. And we can't focus on us because we can't control what's happening out there right now, but we can control what we do. And so I've really enjoyed doing a lot of donations, providing food and meals. Some we talk about, some we don't, because there's just things, it's so much that's involved. And so just really kind of getting ourselves out there in more of a community stance and, you know, donating and doing what we can. I mean, that's really what we can control, right? I mean, just really getting out there and embracing our community the way they embraced us those first few months. And so I'm just thankful for that, and to be able to know that the end is in sight. I'm sure there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll continue. We've got our patio opening up here soon, so I'm excited.
And I'm excited for you, Melissa. So last but not least on this one, Julie, what's been challenging during this time, but also what's been something that surprised you during your 60 days?
Well, probably the most challenging has been sifting through the information that we need to make decisions and to be able to move forward. Like, you know, I don't know how I signed up for every notification for an update from the CDC and the Oregon Health Authority and whatever else, but it just keeps coming, and I'm like, where do I look? What do I really need to know? Mm-hmm. So I've managed to find a company. About a year ago, we joined this thing called restaurantowner.com, and they've been doing webinars, and I feel like they sort of center it for me. Maybe not as an Oregon State business, but as a restaurant in general. And so that's kind of a nice settling place to go. The rest of it, in terms of the rules and regulations and what's coming toward us and how we navigate that, it's just all a challenge, and it's a lot to digest. The supply chain has been difficult. Just making sure that we continue to have everything that we need to make what we make. Mm-hmm. When your supplier says, oh, sorry, I can't get you pizza boxes, and you run to cash and carry and they're out, it's sort of like, you know, what do we do now? Just serve pasta? You know, that we managed to get through that. The thing that it's not a surprise to me, but I think it's really a positive thing and worth noting, is how suddenly friends of mine in other businesses, I sort of picture it, and I'm a visual person, but like we're floating a river, okay? You ever done that where you're all like together and you're tubing and you're whatever, and these other businesses, we're all in the water together. And at some point the water gets rough and you realize you're not alone. Mm-hmm. And everybody's reaching out. My friends with the convention center and Bentley's Grill and the Phoenix Inn and Suites and the Grand Hotel, all of a sudden there they were, you know, like, and it just felt like they're not going to let us fail, you know, and they can't do anything about the fact that they're completely closed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of those places can't do anything. So that I guess is a really pleasant gift in all of this, is just feeling like, you know, there's a great deal of power and strength in joining together and working together to navigate rough waters. So.
And I'm glad that you said that, because I think that's kind of like, and I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it, is, you know, there are cities all across, you know, the country. There's no one in this whole globe untouched by this. But I will simply say this: Salem just does it best. And I'm sorry. And I've been military kid. I've been different places. I don't think Salem could do it any better. I don't think anybody could do it as well as us. And I'm just watching this, you know, being a person who's, you know, been laid off, and I'm at home, and I get to kind of watch this all, what you're talking about, happen. It just blesses my heart to see this, that everybody's coming together to help one another in any big or small way that they can. So again, this is why you guys are the champions that you are from your vantage point. And we definitely want to do what we can for you guys. And so while we've been talking, I've been shot some questions, and this kind of alludes to some conversations I had with Melissa. So I'm going to try to give me a second.
Naomi, are you seeing the questions that
I
shared?
am. I just got to pull them up here. So here's one of the questions. Let's see. So one of the questions that we asked, that Melissa and I asked, of course, and I'm going to post this question for all of you is, about this soft opening that we're all anticipating for you guys and the changes that you won't be at that max capacity. You're going to have those six foot rules, and are people feeling safe enough to come into your restaurants and sit down and enjoy their meals there? So I think, so this goes in line, Melissa, with the question that you and I talked about. Is maintaining 6 feet apart for guests even worth opening your doors? So I'm going to start, Melissa, I want to start with you on that one.
Okay. I think as you start to do the analysis and you start to say, if tables are going to be 6 feet apart, like some of our tables, and I'm not sure about everybody, but they're attached to the ground, right? Some of our booths. So we can't change some of it. But the others you get a little more configuration out of. But for us, we're going from an 88 seat capacity in our dining room to 36, right?
Wow.
That's a huge difference. We get some additional capacity out of the bar area. Of course, we're going to have some outdoor in the patio. But the reality is you're going to be operating at obviously less than 50% as per the requirement, but you may see yourself, depending on your overall layout, somewhere at 40%, right? Just depending on how you have a structure. And yeah, I mean, there you go. And so we're all looking at that, and you have to say, okay, I've got 100% of my costs that aren't going anywhere, right? And if I get a PPP loan, I got to bring back 100% of the staff for 40% of the work and try to really make this work. And these numbers are like insane. So we're trying to just really think about it. What does it take to keep us open where we can really get our employees back? Because one, we really want them to get back to work. We want our little community to come back. But two, is it sustainable, right? And as we think about phase 1 and where we're going, how long are we going to be at 30%, 40% capacity? And, where there's no real reprieve on the lease, the utilities, and everything else that goes out there. Food costs are going up, the beef, the chicken, to-go boxes, everything skyrocketing. And then the guidelines that they're putting on us, the requirements for safety, sanitation, all of that. Again, it really starts to create a challenge across the board, no matter who you are, how long you've been in business. It is significant to us. And it's what we want to do. We want to be open. We want to provide food to our community. We want to have that life back. Our customers, our regulars, our conversations. I mean, we all strive to get back to that. But, it is a significant challenge and something that, only time will tell.
Awesome. And you're so right. And I want to make sure that all of our other owners, you guys have the time to answer that. So Julie, I'm going to go to you. Same thing, like 6 feet rule. Is it worth it for you?
Well, my husband Roger and I argue daily about that. He's all like, we got to do it. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's really look at this. We have, if you've been to Geppetto's, we have a small bar. Mm-hmm. And we have video lottery, so that's a whole nother animal. And then we have our dining room. We have 2 separate dining rooms, and one of them is not large, so there's maybe going to be two or 3 tables in there max. Anyway, we're looking at that. It's not a super easy decision to make. Lottery, people are hungry for lottery, and as much as I don't want to rely on that for business, but it was a significant loss financially for Geppetto's. So if we open up, you can't seat anybody at your bar. Players have to be 6 feet from tables. So, I mean, what are we going to do? Open just for lottery? And then are people going to wait in line for that? And so do you set a time limit? I mean, and even when it comes to tables, oh my God,
Mhm.
Melissa, when you were talking about your table configurations, I'm like, okay, so every table has one of those sands of time things on it. And when it runs out, you got to go because we're
Gotta
going to
get
get
out.
somebody else in here.
Got it out, right?
Uh,
Oh,
no, it's definitely the topic of conversation. And I hear you, Melissa, on the whole, the what are going to be the requirements? How do we teach our staff? How do we have time to teach our staff before May 14th and get all the stuff in that we need? I've struggled to get gloves.
mm,
When I find them, I buy them up as much as they will allow, because what is going to happen? How long are we all going to have to wear a different pair of gloves to every table?
yeah.
And so anyway, that's that.
So Kevin, question to you as well. And I've been in all of your guys' restaurants, and it's not like you guys are some massively big restaurants. You guys are already, all of yours, your seating is intimate. Your seating, it's perfect. But now you just kind of almost slash that. So Kevin, how about you? 6-foot rule in your
Well,
place?
yeah, I think it'll be worth it. The biggest challenge for us, or at least as I'm reading it, is going to be as you're seating guests, you have to be 6 feet away. So I mean, even you're not even supposed to pass a table
Yeah.
with
Oh,
other
wow.
people. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how any restaurant really in any capacity is going to be able to meet that rule. I mean,
Yeah.
you basically have to strategically place them at a table, and earlier you talked about, okay, well, the time limit's up, so you could strategically go, okay, we're going to seat this table, then this table, then this table, and okay, that table has to get up, but we can't get to that table while these two tables are sat. So I mean, there's going to be a little bit of a challenge when it comes just to being strategic about what tables to sit when, and how reservations are going to work, and all that stuff. But I think financially, if we can keep our tables full,
Mm-hmm.
then it would be worth it, because we have the fixed costs, the rent and the utilities already. It's for what we're doing for the to-go business. So more business is going to be better than less.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's going to be some challenges just in, you talked about, gloves and masks and stuff like that. I mean, trying to make sure our employees have those, and what happens if we run out of gloves? Do we have to shut down now? I mean,
Mhm.
we can't be open without them. So I think that there's going to be a lot of challenges associated with reopening for dine-in. And what if the business, I mean, we also have to look at what our customers, I think you had mentioned this, what our guests and customers are. Do they feel comfortable going out to eat? Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. I mean, with as much, and it's not so much as am I safe as can I prevent, how do I support my community by preventing the spread of COVID, especially in a county, Marion County, that has the highest number per capita.
Yeah. So, and Treva, same thing. So, the last in this question, but, and I do, like, you have to imagine that the atmosphere that we want to experience when you walk into a restaurant, the pleasant smile you see on your host and hostesses' faces, the servers' faces, that disappears when you have to hide behind the mask. Your eyes, of course, will tell the story, but, that typical warm welcome kind of diminishes just slightly, just because now I've got gloves on, I've got this, I've got to stand 6 feet away from you. So wrapping up this particular question, what are you feeling about the 6-foot rule?
I am fortunate. Our restaurants have a beautiful layout, really easy flow. So that is not as challenging for us. So we're looking very good. We're very excited. Yeah, we're having different masks and buffs made. We're doing different things outside. But I think the excitement of being able to open will kind of give you back that warmth. Excitement to be able to be out at a restaurant from the guest point. Our staff being able to see them, being able to wait on them. I think that's going to bring back that excitement, that warmth that you may not see through the mask. that's going to be a different part, but it's going to be everywhere. So we're going to kind of get used to it as a new norm. So we'll work through all of that and be excited to be able to do what we do well.
Awesome. So I'm going to find something in another question. So give me just a second.
Naomi?
Yes.
Naomi?
Checking,
Oh, go ahead, Grayson.
I was going to say, while you're checking through that, one of the most important questions I think that came up in this is what is the best way to order from you?
Yes. That was, yep.
And just to sort of jump in, and I'll let you guys correct me or see what you'd like to but when utilizing programs like DoorDash or Uber Eats or any of those sort of like delivery to your door type programs, they do take a sizable portion of the actual money that is spent on that particular product. We're talking to the tune of like 30, 35, 40%.
Yep.
You spend $10, they're taking $4 essentially, and that keeps it out of the restaurant's pocket. So I can't speak to each one of y'all, but if you do, if you're thinking about ordering from a restaurant, call the restaurant first.
Yes.
Some of y'all are doing delivery stuff. Some of y'all are doing that kind of like, hey, we'll bring it to your door. Find out if that particular restaurant that you're wanting to order from is doing a program like that. Keep the money in the restaurant's pocket. Not to say anything bad about Uber Eats or DoorDash, but like when you're trying to support your local businesses, your small businesses, support them by making sure that you're ordering directly from them if they happen to have that service available. Find out before just hopping on Uber and seeing if it's a thing, essentially.
And I agree with you because right now, especially, like, I think outside of this, the whole COVID situation, I think that outside of this, that's kind of okay, right? Because max capacity inside the restaurants and loads of takeout. But right now, I think that's the best way we can support each of these and all the other local restaurants is, quite frankly, going directly to them in my mind. And I know the delivery sounds great, but I do, first of all, it gets me out of the house. So I like it. So I like being able to go there. And if I know that me going to you, because maybe you are having to rely, and I think, Julie, if I'm not mistaken, I only know Julie for sure, you guys are able to just do delivery yourselves. I don't think, are you guys you're not using Uber Eats or anything like that, are you?
We decided a long time ago that was not financially reasonable. It's all it does is make you busier, and it stresses out your staff, and there's no profit to be had on that. Yeah. So we decided a long time ago not to do that. Geppetto's has been delivering since it opened, I believe, 45 years ago. So we have our own delivery drivers. We have 4 counting me, delivery drivers that go out. And we are busy that way, especially in the evening. Yeah, it's good. I've said right along, I would rather employ people to do that job and pay the insurance that it costs. It costs a lot of money to be able to have people drive company vehicles. But that's the way we roll. And they try, God bless Grubhub, they keep trying to push through stuff, and people sometimes show up here and they're like, well, I ordered through Grubhub. And we're like, well, we don't have a deal with Grubhub, so how can we help you? So when you said call the restaurant first, I agree 100%.
So question, so I'm going to have you guys all raise your hands because everybody's going to be able to see all of you guys at once. Show of hands, how many of you do offer gift cards to your restaurant? Okay, perfect.
Hey, Naomi?
Yes.
Can I interrupt for just a second?
You can.
We could still go, I could share the link and we could go live, and then you could ask a couple of these final questions for those that are still waiting.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Why are we waiting?
Let's do that. So,
while you're doing that, I just want to add about the Grubhub and the Uber and stuff like that. When you can call us directly, and I'm all of our restaurants, not just me, but when you go and search online for Sassy Onion, I know that Grubhub and Uber are the top hits for our ordering from a restaurant. So make sure that if you are going to order from the local businesses, that you scroll down far enough to actually find their website, not just click on, oh, this says order from Sassy Onion. You're really ordering through Grubhub versus finding like Sassy Onion's website and clicking on our website. And that actually we do have a platform that you can order online, and it's through Square, but we certainly don't have to pay the delivery the Uber and Grubhub delivery services.
I love it. Can we do this, Tim? Like, I don't have.
I've shared it. So, and that's, we'll see if people join in.
How many people can we fit in this Zoom?
We may,
Right?
we may have lost people, but
Oh, I see people
We got
hopping on.
one.
all right.
Oh, Catherine!
Yay. Come on, everybody.
Everybody come on in. The water's
There we
just
go.
fine.
Oh, here they go.
Some more
That's
people. And
Okay.
let this
Ended the one I was hosting because we're all hopping over here. So
Okay.
Oh,
perfect.
good.
Thank you.
We had some technical difficulties going live. You gotta love Facebook. Nick, good morning, sir. Stephanie, my girl, Katie, good morning. I don't want to do the whole romper room thing, so good morning to all of you that are jumping on right now. We apologize. We did have some technical difficulties this morning, but we have some of our favorite restaurants on with us this morning, and so we're going to air, we're going to post and air the interview portion. But if we can do this as as organized as possible, some of the questions that we've asked them is, of course, you know, coming into the soft opening and having to deal with a 6-foot rule, how they're going to manage that and open their doors. But we're all anticipating them opening their doors. And so what are some questions that you might have for those? So we have Julie Hoy with
Naomi,
Geppetto's.
if I can interrupt, I think
Yeah.
just really quickly, sorry to do that, but just I think if we could just really focus it on like a show of hands on the gift certificates. So
Okay.
let's kind of just, so if you could do that again, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So everybody can see. Let's have you guys watch those 4 people. How many of you guys offer gift cards or gift certificates?
Hooray.
So they all do. Yay. So, you know, if you guys aren't, you know, if you know, and let me ask you, so everybody else, so this is for the restaurant people to see you guys. By a show of hands of all of you guys watching, how many of you feel confident when time comes for the soft opening of going into their restaurant? Show of hands for going into their restaurants and eating. You guys see that? Nick's going nuts. Somebody feed this man. He's like,
I'm being fed just fine, but eating in my house all the time is getting super old.
hell, hey, how's those chicken wings though? So let me ask you guys this. For you guys, how many of you have been going directly to their websites or calling them directly to order? Show of hands, going them directly to order your food and not using Grubhub. Okay, so not that many. Okay. So we were talking.
That's a really important point to reiterate for our local restaurants. I mean,
Yeah.
let's
So
do
for you,
everything we can, because I'm not in the restaurant business. God bless you guys, but you know, from what I understand, the margins are just not there. So going through those third parties. So let's do everything we can to support our restaurants by going direct.
yeah. So what you guys will see in the video later is one of the things we talked about is if you guys can go go directly to them and pick up your meals, or go directly to them and call them directly. Grubhub and Uber Eats, they're charging anywhere between 20 to 40% of what you're paying to the restaurant. So the restaurants, our local restaurants, aren't getting that full 100%. And so we want to be putting 100% of those dollars into those restaurants. So very important. So it looks like Catherine had a question. Somebody wants to know if you have creme brulee, Julie.
Not this week, but if enough people ask for it, we might be able to get Chef Alonzo to whip up a batch. It is
By a
very
show of hands, who wants the creme brulee?
okay. I'll tell you what. If he can do it, is this Sunday Mother's Day? And it's Friday.
Yes.
I'll do the best I can today, but he's got his list of things to do, and if it's not on it, it's a little hard to squeeze it in. But I'll try.
Julie, if you have creme brulee, sorry. Julie, if you have creme brulee, you can count on me.
Jackie.
So speaking of Mother's Day weekend, of the 4 of you, who all will be doing a menu for Mother's Day or delivering for Mother's Day? Raise the hands. So Julie,
Those are
Kevin's
two
doing it
questions, so I'm
twice.
raising two hands.
Right? Awesome. So I'm gonna pull up another question, and we're just gonna have to do this by raising hands, and I'm sorry you guys, because I want to make sure our people seeing you. Let's see.
It's kind of, I mean, I would argue that Mother's Day is actually one of the biggest holidays that restaurant owners actually see business too. So being shut down right now is like, hey, let's just go ahead and shoot you in the foot even harder by having your second busiest day also be closed. Like,
yeah. Hey, can I say something about that? Is that okay?
Is it about turtles again?
That's a real thing. There's a turtle hatching tonight at the zoo. There's a watch party.
Oh my
No
God.
kidding. Okay, anyway, what I want to say, we've talked a lot about champions, and I just want to say that I'd like to include those who couldn't stay open in the champion list, because that's hard. And that may mean your business is done. But that may mean you have to find a way to come back. And sometimes the hardest thing you can do is not pick up an actionable item, but to have to stop and wait. And I admire those who have chosen to shut down for all the reasons that they know needed upgrades and remodels and all that, like Konditorei, to be able to improve their business in this time, and be ready for that opening. So I just want to acknowledge those who could not stay open as champions as well, because they're just
Absolutely
at the right time.
Nothing makes a better champion than those who do the comeback. So there's always when there's a setback, there's always the comeback. So yeah, so we're seeing some of that happening now. We're seeing folks like Ritter's. We're seeing Wild Pear. I just got a thing showing Robert's Crossing is doing something for Mother's Day. So
is Halfpenny.
Halfpenny. So we're seeing some of those folks reopen their doors, or at least right now do something for Mother's Day. And so what I want to encourage my 4 restaurant folks to do is you guys should all be on the Salem Chamber Greeters page, is if you could in this post links to your businesses, links to your social media, so we can support you. But I'm going to end this with one final question, and we're going to go through the group like we did before. As we continue with the delivery and the takeout and the preparation for the soft opening, and I'm going to give you guys each 2 minutes each to answer this, how can we as a community continue to best serve you all and support you all and come alongside you? So I'm going to start this with Melissa.
Hey. I think be ready to come out and enjoy the fresh air and sit in the patios and sit in our restaurants and re-engage with people. I think as we all start to look and anticipate the openings, that's just the most exciting part, is to see people again and have some conversations. Sure, we might have masks on, gloves on, everything really sanitized, 6 feet apart, but I feel like it's still going to be a way to connect and a way to get back together. And I just am hopeful that, as all of us will be operating at anywhere from 30-40% capacity, just maintaining those social distancings, that you'll feel comfortable knowing that we've done everything we can to really prepare our employees and our facilities with sanitizing and, additional measures of just keeping it really clean for you guys to come out and feel safe, enjoy a great meal, a glass of wine, a cocktail, whatever that might be, and just welcome us and embrace us as we start to open our doors.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Julie, same question. How can we best continue to support you and come alongside you?
Keep praying. Don't stop praying for us. No, and we're gonna figure this out. When I get the opportunity to make a delivery, like when the timing's right, and it's somebody that we know who's maybe been a customer at Geppetto's for decades. Like last night, I went to deliver to this older couple in South Salem, And they were like, oh, come on in. And I'm like, no, I better stay out here. UM for me, you know. And then they say, when are you going to open? You know, that's our date night is Thursday night, you know.
Aww.
You're like, how can we do this? What do you think? And I get their input. So we can kind of gather a bunch of information and make the best decision. What they liked that I offered was maybe phase 1, we only open for a few tables, and maybe it's reservation only. And you know that you can come at 5:30 on Thursday night and have your dinner, you know? And they said, oh, that would be wonderful, you know? So I'm just gathering intel, you know, to try to figure out what the best plan is moving forward.
That's awesome, Julie. I love the date night. So, Mr. Kick Butt Kevin, what is some ways that we can support you right now and continue to come alongside you for Sassy Onion?
Yeah, so we're doing, you know, the pickup and the delivery ourselves. So the best way to support us is to continue to visit our website, sassyonion.com, to place your orders or give us a phone call.
Awesome.
And y'all are
Reva?
doing dinner. I guess I want to point that out as well.
Yes.
They're open until 7. It's a big thing.
So I know some of the other businesses will rely solely on dinner. And, you know, as busy as you guys are, sometimes over capacity, that we're here and, you know, we can take a little bit of that.
Please keep feeding Grayson.
Yeah.
Treva, wrap us up with that. So, like, what is some ways that we can continue to support Gambrietti's and come alongside you right now?
Is to keep doing what you have been doing through all of this. That is that you're ordering out, and then when we have the dine-in, feel comfortable to come in, but keep posting. I love the Salem Eats, all of the information that's out there. I love anybody that posts any food, any photos, just keeping us out there, keep our name out there, keep thinking about us. And like I said, you guys have done a great job at helping us, supporting us, and that's just keep doing what you're doing, and we're loving you.
Oh, well, we love all of you guys. And so I'm going to wrap this up by just saying simply this. For those of you who are still watching and will watch later, please reach out to each of these 4 restaurants and then any other of your other favorite restaurants here in Salem, and let them know how much you appreciate them, how much you love them, and just give them all the words of encouragement. Again, go directly to them, call them directly, go directly to their websites to order. If you have social media, take whatever posts they have, post them onto your own social media to spread the word. Like Treva said, use Salem Eats, and just keep loving on each other during the week. Where I feel like we're getting closer to the end of the tunnel, I think, as Melissa said earlier. And, you know, we just got to keep sticking together, kind of like Julie was talking about, us all on these rafts floating down the river. We just need to hang on to each other right now, and just continue to support each other. We're almost there. We just have a little further to go, and I think that we're going to have a couple little bumps along the way, but together, I think we'll do amazing things. And as I always like to share with you, I love when you guys all reach out to me during the week. I don't know about all you, but I love the text messages and the phone calls, and just reaching out through social media. Keep doing that with each other. We need that now more than ever to keep just loving on each other and coming and gathering together when we can, how we can. You know, so with that, thank you, Kevin and Treva and Melissa and Julie, for jumping on this morning. Apologies that we couldn't go live this morning. You know, you gotta love. Yeah, Tim, you know what? Always thank you for sponsoring and supporting this. We think that Tim might have been in the doghouse, and that's why we couldn't go live, but we haven't figured that out yet.
It's all my fault. I don't know.
But we just want to thank you guys for jumping on this morning. Tim, again, thank you for supporting just this platform. We'll be back next week, hopefully live. But in the meantime, leave your comments. For the 4 of you, please make sure you post all your information on the greeters page. Even jump over to Salem Eats, whatever you got promotionally going on for Mother's Day this weekend, make sure you're posting as well. So on that note, happy Aloha Friday, everyone, and mahalo. Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.